when you look at the history of New Orleans, it's the whole town, Diane, is below sea level. So the first big job that Pete Dye had to do, not so much me, was he had to figure out how to drain this piece of land that's beautifully positioned over your shoulder there, hole number 16, that is, drivable par 4. Pete Dye back then, you know, he was so interesting to work with. He's so into getting into drainage and what you can't see. Yes, we've just seen TPC Sawgrass. We've just seen Harbour Town, two of his, you know, iconic gem courses. Very tricky on the angles, a lot of visual intimidation. This course only has plus or minus 3 feet of elevation. That's as deep as we could go. As you know, in New Orleans, Diane, when the cemeteries, they have to put people above ground because everything sinks. On the 18th hole, we tried to build a big spectator mound down the left side. We put 100 truckloads of sand and material in there one day, and by the time we got back there the next morning, it was underground. It was flat again. So where to go? Who stole the 100? Who sold the 100 truckloads? And it just sinks. So we finished up just having plus or minus 3 feet. Pete puts these tiny little bunkers. A lot of players were so chapped off about these small bunkers, but you know, he said to me once, he said, Elk, if I could stand on the tee, have the tour player stand on the tee, and they're worried about a bunker out there that's 3 feet wide, I've totally done my job. I am so in their head, it's unreal. And when we did the course, he would say, I'm going to put this bunker here for this type of player because I know they're going to try to shoot across this bunker, and I'm going to totally trap him. It was like a Monopoly game for him. He tempted players to go on this distance, and then he had something awful to greet them if they went that way. And it's a very strategic angle type golf course.
Okay. What kind of feedback did you get from the players once the course opened and they were playing it and experiencing everything that you guys had done?
Well, when you go to New Orleans, we played a couple of different ones, and English Term was a great course we played there. But I think TPC in general, just look at the field. I mean, the guys love coming down to New Orleans. They've got all the food. They've got this golf course is in perfect condition. It's a very fair golf course. Pete Dye is a great designer. My job was basically to make sure that he didn't go too crazy. And back in 2004, he sent me a set of drawings. He wanted to be the first designer to build an 8,000-yard course. That was in 2004. Do you think Pete Dye knew what he was doing? I mean, you could probably play an 8,000-yard course today with the tour players as far as they hit the ball. And I said, Pete, if I sign off on 8,000 yards and I go back in the locker room and these guys heard that I signed off on an 8,000-yard course, I won't have a career. I'll get chopped up in the locker room. So I don't know what we finished, 74 or so, but it's a very fair golf course, and it's super fun to play, and the guys love it.
What did you learn about Pete Dye and Pete Dye design courses after working with him?
Well, I think because I studied agronomy and horticulture, Dye, I was very interested in that. But what I learned the most from him about was how to get a golf course to drain. You know, when you think of these great courses like Pebble Beach or Augusta National, they're so dry. I mean, we saw Augusta get all that rain and it became dry. So how they build all the under drainage of it is so important. And I'm going to do a drawing for you later today and sort of show you what we did there. Very interesting. We built a moat around this golf course and we lowered the water table. Everything on that golf course had to go down into a moat, and then we pumped it back out to the ocean. Or into one of these canals. So it's very interesting to get this place up and dry. Once we did that, and you're dealing with this sinking phenomenon they have in New Orleans, then it became all strategy. How are we going to trick these players? And I was just basically like a kid following around Pete Dye. Can you imagine him taking on me as a co-designer? I mean, what am I doing there? I have no business being there. But it was very, very informative for me. It was fantastic. It was the greatest experience of my life.